Okay, so in continuation of the previous video, I wanted to share my personal experience. Oftentimes people say, want to make a little money, just leave your parents' house. Well, I left my parents' house at the age of 28. Now, you may say, oh, I was very old before I left home. But because at that time my income did not support me living by myself. So it took a while for me to be able to get to that stage. Now, I wasn't ashamed of, of course, for a while, I was after school, I tried my hands on a lot of things. I started my business in 200 level in school, and it was quite successful. I made quite a bit of money. I think I made my first million in that 200 level, but because at that time I did not have much knowledge about finances, I didn't know what to do. I went buying things. In fact, I did not invest any amount of that money. I just spent everything, bought this, bought that, I was the happening guy in school. you know, very foolish decisions, but well, I have no regrets because that then made me to begin to question a lot of things. And when I got my first job was in Port Harcourt. Of course, my family lives in Lagos, so I went to Port Harcourt to try my luck as nothing reasonable was coming in Lagos. So I went to Port Harcourt. Now, the problem with that is that now I didn't have anybody in Port Harcourt. I just had only one friend who recommended me for the job anyway. And, unfortunately, um, I did not discuss the financials for the job. I was so eager to get something doing that, I traveled to Port Harcourt several times to interview for the job. And then after landing the job, I did not know how much I was going to be paid until I was paid my first salary, which was 38,000. I remember taking the check that day and I wanted to pass out. Like, why did I stress myself to come here? Yeah, so basically, my first income from paid employment was 38,000. And for someone who was, preparing to get married, that wasn't looking good at all. Now you might say, oh, but 38,000 is above the minimum wage. Well, yes, but it's nothing when you're trying to start a family. And, I was in Port Harcourt by myself. I was living all alone. Thankfully, my employer gave me somewhere to sleep, an empty room with nothing, no bed, nothing, you know. So I had to, from that 38,000, furnish the room. And little by little, I was putting in, I bought pots after I got paid, I bought pots, I bought plates. The first month, I just managed to get by. I was mostly eating out, which of course swallowed all the money because there was not enough to save. I'm sure those who are familiar with Port Harcourt can tell you how expensive it can get, you know. So what I usually did was I started making sacrifices. So I started trekking. In fact, I trekked so much that period that I think the fitness from that time is still part of why I'm not looking over bloated by now because I trekked. Oh my goodness. I trekked, I trekked so much that period because that was the only way I could save funds. If I did not do that, I would not have enough money to save. I would not have enough to eat even. So I started doing that every day I was making those sacrifices. And after 6 months, I had to move back to Lagos because I could no longer deal. I was feeling homesick, and the income wasn't really incoming. Let me put it that way. So I had to. pack up and go back to Lagos. I got a job offer in Lagos that I thought was going to be the game changer. The person offered me 80,000 over the phone, and that was like almost twice my income. So I packed and left. In fact, I left everything I bought, pot, mattress. I left everything so that whoever is giving that place will have something to start with. I left all of that and I left. I took only my clothes and wow. When I got to Lagos, the person who had offered me the position said that because um, I didn't have what do they call it now, certifications for my skills, that they can't pay me above 40,000. I wanted to, in fact, I was this close to beating the man up. But the man was a lot bigger than me, so I had to respect myself. But I was fuming. I got home and told my mom, and my mom was like, "Don't take it badly." She was trying to pet me that I should not take it badly. And I was so livid. I was so angry. Like, why will he offer me that kind of thing? Well, to cut the short story long, I reluctantly took the job because, well, my mom and my dad promised that they were going to get somebody who lives close to the workplace so that I don't need to burn money on transport. Well, except that arrangement will come to light tomorrow, but it never happened. So I had to obviously be making, of course, Port Harcourt has taught me how to trek. So I started trekking some more in Lagos so I could save some money. Now, what am I going to with this? While I was earning 40,000, 38,000, I lived at home or where I was offered free accommodation because I simply could not afford to pay rent from that money, you know. And that tells you that, for example, somebody said, "Oh, what if my income is just 120,000 and I have four children?" Obviously, you should not have four children on 120,000 income because that is suicide. And I think to a large extent, that's why a lot of men die early because you're doing more than you should be doing. And that's why I've been preaching, especially for young people, to begin to plan their lives early. Because when you plan, there's certain things you're going to avoid. You know, me, I have two daughters. Um, and my in-laws are always saying, and my parents, they're always saying, "Oh, give us a boy, give us a boy." And I always tell them it's not in the plan. And they said, "No, but we need a boy." And I said, "I don't need a boy. In my plan, I only had two girls factored in. If you want a boy, make a deposit of 100 million in my account, and then we can discuss." And people always think it's just a joke, but raising children, raising kids is crazy expensive. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're just going to kill yourself. And that's why I believe that you should always plan your life in such a way that you keep away the loads that you cannot carry in the moment. So all that period I was staying at home, I will go to work in the morning, come back, do what I can from the little I've saved. I'll try and do a little few things in the house so that at least they will know that somebody is there. But when I was getting closer to getting married, I had to go and get somewhere for myself, but I couldn't afford any. It took the generosity of my in-laws to raise and support me to get my first apartment. Now, so you can see how, of course, that's why I believe everybody gets helped along the line. And that's why you also have to position yourself because when my wife, father asked me that how much have I saved, if I said I had not saved anything, I'm sure he's just going to withdraw his offer. I told him I saved so much, and he asked me, how did I save that much from my little income? And I explained to him what I was doing, and it made sense. And thankfully, our mom also helped me, and I was able to get something that they could add something to. Now, when we got married, thank God my wife is an Ijebu woman. She knows how to manage resources. So we always made sure to stay. I remember the first time I'd made some money and I wanted to buy her first car. She said no, that let's wait, let the money accumulate some more before, and that's why that woman, I will buy anything for her because she knows how to delay gratification to get to where she wants to go. And today, after that first car, we bought maybe two other ones, and we thank God for how far we've come. But I can say for certain that if we did not cut certain things out, I remember by 2014, I had bought shares from my savings from 38,000 naira income of almost 200,000. I was amazed when I looked at it and I was like, wow, how did I achieve this? And that's how powerful, living within or below your means can help you create the buffer. In fact, the opportunity that created the abundance that I, enjoy today started from that savings because when the opportunity came, I had something I could use to make an experiment, and that opened the door. And from there, things got better and better from there. And that's why it's important for you to be very ruthless about your growth journey. What are the things that you're carrying now that you cannot afford to be carrying? And that's why I urge parents to please, please, please don't put pressure on your children until they're able to carry them. If you do that, you're going to kill whatever future you think they can have. And that's why you can look at Africa, you will see what I'm talking about you know. So thank you for listening. Catch you in the next video. Have a nice one.